Okay, we'll call to order special meeting for general purposes, Thursday, July 30th, to order. Call the roll.
Mr. Damascus. Mr. Dussinger.
Here.
Mr. Evans.
Here.
Dr. Fender.
Here.
Mr. Camus.
Here.
Mr. Mauser.
Here.
Mr. Brzezinski.
Here.
Mr. Richards. Mr. Usavich.
Here. Okay, we'll have a moment of silence, followed by a salute of the flag. In our moment of silence, if you'd remember Joanne's mother who passed away yesterday. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. We don't know anything yet, Tom. Okay, we'll have superintendent's comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mauser. I'd also like to echo your sentiments. Our thoughts and prayers are with Mrs. Wood and her family at this time. I'd like to start the meeting by making brief opening remarks regarding our reopening plans for the 2021 school year. Our reopening committee, composed of administrators, teachers, teacher representatives, began meeting over 2 months ago. Over that time period, we have had Zoom meetings, meetings in person, and phone conferences. The spirit of cooperation and partnership in our meetings has been extraordinary. We set out initially with the goal of beginning the 2021 school year with traditional in-person instruction in the same way we're used to beginning every school year. We firmly believe at that time of our first meeting that this goal could be accomplished with creative and innovative thinking. However, as our meetings have developed and progressed, it is becoming increasingly clear that trying to meet the social distancing guidelines and mandates in 3 buildings that house over 1,200 students, namely our high school, our middle school, and State Street Elementary School, is an enormous task. While we were able to troubleshoot some issues, a majority of other issues continue to challenge us. And even in our smaller elementary buildings, smaller classrooms are bigger obstacles to providing the recommended socially distanced environment for whole community learning. The Transportation Committee is also challenged to meet stringent guidelines for sanitation and spacing on school bus runs, and given the size of our district, the potential cost of scheduling enough extra bus runs to ensure student safety is prohibitive. In short, our committee has been continually striving to overcome countless obstacles in order to meet the guidelines and mandates that are intended to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our students and our staff. Governor Wolf's new restrictions put in place almost 3 weeks ago reflect the fact that if the virus is not mitigated now, we very well may be back to full remote online virtual learning as we were from March to June. And the rising number of cases in our area continues to be a case for concern. We at the Wyoming Valley West School District are committed to doing all that we can to protect our students, our staff, and our families from COVID-19. And so I'm announcing that as of today, the Wyoming Valley West School District is to begin the 2021 school year under a hybrid model of education that involves a mixture of in-school and online instruction during the week. This will reduce the number of students who are present in the school buildings each day and allow us to meet the challenges involved in providing a safe learning environment for all our students and staff. However, with this plan, we will offer parents a choice of 3 learning options, including the hybrid option. The other 2 options are Google Classroom full remote 5 days a week, as well as our traditional Wyoming Valley West cyber education. Specific details of these options will be posted on the district website later today. We feel that it is imperative to make our current options public now so that all parents have ample time to arrange schedules for childcare for the beginning of the school year. The hybrid model of operation may very well present its own challenges to all of us. But at this time, we believe it is a model that allows us to best meet the educational, social, and emotional needs of our students while protecting the health, safety, and welfare of students, administrators, faculty, and staff. Let me also conclude by saying this situation remains fluid, and we will continue to monitor the data from Luzerne County. And I would also like to say that while it is our current plan, the reopening committee and the Board of Education are also strongly looking at the possibility of full virtual learning for the first marking period. A final decision will be made at the August school board meeting in that regard. And at this time, I would like to just give a brief summary of all three learning options that parents will have. And again, we're looking at these options for the first marking period only. We'll reevaluate where we're at as a school district at that time. These learning options also, as I indicated, will be available on the website around 12 o'clock today. The first option that we made you aware of was the hybrid option. And in the hybrid option, this involves a combination of virtual and in-person learning. And the way we're going to group the students up, students that are in group A would be students whose last name begin with the letters A through K. They would be group A. They would be attending school on Monday and Tuesday. Group B students include students whose last name begin with L through Z. They would attend school on Thursday and Friday. Wednesday would be a full cleaning and sanitizing day for our custodial staff and our cleaning staff. All groups, whether you're A through K or L through Z, you will receive 5 days of instruction, 2 physically in the brick and mortar and 3 in the online environment. The model that we will use with the hybrid will be Google Classroom. All student participation in this, all 3 learning options, all 3 will require grading and attendance through direct instruction. The second model is Google Classroom. Google Classroom will be a parallel curriculum to the hybrid option so that students, parents who choose to keep their children at home, those students would be educated through Google Classroom 5 days a week in a parallel curriculum, learning exactly what the other students that are in the brick and mortar are learning at that time. One side note with that, students will have the opportunity to interact with their teachers still through Google Classroom, and the honors and advanced placement students will be offered Google Classroom through this mode of delivery. Again, grading and attendance is required. But I do want to emphasize, because it's been a point of some interest, that through Google Classroom, students can take the advanced placement and the honors courses. Our final learning option for parents would be our traditional Wyoming Valley West cyber program. The cyber program is a program of study delivered through Ingenuity platform. Again, that's also a platform that students, the attendance and their grading is obviously required. That does not offer honors and advanced placement. So we want to make sure we differentiate between Google Classroom and the cyber. A number of parents who have been involved in the cyber environment in the past have expressed some interest in staying there. So we're going to use that as an option. Again, all 3 options we're looking at for the first marking period only, and we will continue to reevaluate based on the data. With that, as I said previously, they will be posted on the district website, all 3 options, and we'll have more information Sunday night at 7 o'clock with our normal robocall. Thank you, Mr. Majer.
Thank you, Mr.
That Monday and Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, are they full days?
Full days, yes.
And transportation is set up?
Full day
for it?
transportation as
Is
normal.
it set up that only half can go on a bus and?
Yes.
It's all set up?
Yep. And the transportation committee is also meeting today.
Anyone else? Okay. Attorney Goldberg? Thank you. I'm going to read this statement on behalf of the board. We hope that everyone in the Wyoming Valley West community is safe and in good health during this unprecedented time of the COVID-19 pandemic. The primary concern of this board continues to be the health, safety, welfare, and education of our children. Please note that the board is doing everything within its power to ensure all of those rights to our Spartan family. In the interest of public safety, this meeting is being conducted using remote access for many of the board members, and it will be kept brief. Although this is a public meeting and complies with the state's sunshine laws, because a number of individuals are not physically present, we will not be taking any questions and comments live. The board asks that if you have any questions that would normally be raised during public comment, please go to the Wyoming Valley West website and send any questions to the board by email. The administration will return your email as soon as possible. Thank you for your cooperation and understanding as we all work through these trying times.
Thank you,
Thank
Attorney.
you.
Okay, with that, we'll move to general recommended action. I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. DeBascus, Mr. Dessinger,
Yes.
Mr. Evans,
Yes.
Dr. Fender,
Yes.
Mr. Camus,
Yes.
Mr. Majer,
Yes.
Mr. Pazinski,
Yes.
Mr. Richards, Mr. Yusavich.
Yes.
Okay, staff recommended action. Now, I won't read all this. I'll just read you the names because they're all effective the first day of the 2021 school year. These are appointments to the professional staff, and they're all at a salary of $44,500. The names are Tracy Vitelli, high school, Anna Rittenhouse, Hopeland, English teacher, Mallory Fox, learning support teacher, Michael Brown, autistic support, State Street, Stephen Sapotsky, autistic support, middle school, Brandon Zalotek, emotional support, high school, and Lisa Elegonis, elementary K at State Street. I need a motion.
So moved.
Call the roll.
Mr. DeBascus, Mr. Dessinger,
Yes.
Mr. Evans,
Yes.
Dr. Fender,
Yes.
Mr. Camus,
Yes.
Mr. Majer,
Yes.
Mr. Pazinski,
Yes.
Mr. Richards, Mr. Yusavich.
Yes.
Okay, are there any board member comments?
I had conversations, I brought it up a couple months ago. I had a conversation yesterday with Attorney Goldberg. I would like to see all the board members have this review. I'd like to actually go for the motion. It's legal, we should do it for full transparency.
I don't have a problem.
I make the motion.
Okay, call for the vote.
Mr. DeBascus, Mr. Dessinger,
Yes.
Mr. Evans,
Yes.
Dr. Fender, Dr. Fender, Mr. Camus,
Yes.
Mr. Majer,
Yes.
Mr. Pazinski,
Yes.
Mr. Richards, Mr. Yusavich.
Yes.
Okay, are there any other comments? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.